Endeavor goes Berzerk mode, we see Class 1A in the future, and Endeavor finally does what All Might couldn't. Kill All for One. Let's talk about all of this and more as we dive right into the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. So My Hero Academia Chapter 357 is finally out, and with it we get to see the continuation of Endeavor and the hero's devastatingly grueling fight with King Potato Head, All for One, in the battle for the world. And let's just say things really heat up as Endeavor completely loses his cool in all sense of the word. But before I begin talking about this chapter, don't forget to try smash that like button and slide on into that subscribe button's DMs to hit that notification bell. And now, without further ado, let's jump right into My Hero Academia Chapter 357, titled The Real Thing, A Wounded Hero. This chapter opens up directly where the last chapter left off, with Endeavor one-armed but back in the fight, being his old stubborn self and giving his all against the King of Villainy, All for One. We see Endeavor has continued this vicious assault against All for One, who is now protecting himself from the hero's flames with a force field quirk. All for One, while attempting to block all of Endeavor's incoming attacks, comments how not only he is struggling to block these incoming attacks, but also how this fight is starting to remind him of his first ever fight with All Might. And as we see this amazing image of a fully enraged Endeavor concentrating a huge blast of fire where his right arm used to be, All for One states, "There is nothing more terrifying than a wounded hero." And immediately after saying this, Endeavor rockets towards All for One and comes face to face with the villain in an instant, which initially catches All for One by surprise, who can't understand where Endeavor's newfound speed is coming from. However, it is quickly revealed that once again Hawks, who is in fact alive, hooray, is using his feathers to give Endeavor a dramatic speed boost. Endeavor, now in melee range with All for One, unleashes his devastating super move, Vanishing Fist, Jet Burn, blasting the senseless villain down to the ground, which actually confuses the heroes fighting there, who were informed that the plan was to keep All for One in the sky. Following this massive attack, Hawks asks Endeavor why he used Vanishing Fist instead of his ultimate move, Prominence Burn, to which the flaming hero explains that All for One is currently purely focused on defense, putting all of his energy into his force field quirk. So it would have been too risky of a moment to use all of his energy with Prominence Burn in case All for One could block it. And in hearing this, Hawks, surprised by Endeavor's logical reasoning, tells Endeavor that it's good to see he has finally cooled off. But NG replies that no, he hasn't, he's actually as mad as ever. The story then cuts to the ground, where Kamui Woods notices All for One now on the ground as well, and he immediately starts running away, pulling his fellow heroes along with him. The other heroes, surprised by Kamui's reaction, ask him why they don't just attack All for One while he's down. But before Kamui can even answer these questions, Endeavor smashes into All for One with insane speed, shattering his force field while also creating a blazing inferno, scorching everyone in the nearby vicinity. Kamui then answers that the reason they are running is because Endeavor is coming true, as a flaming-eyed Endeavor lets out a brutal scream while unleashing his flames at full power, dragging and burning All for One across the entirety of the battlefield. All for One, being mangled across the ground, thinks about how he's struggling to move his body without the help of his mask. So, with what little strength he has left, he raises his hand and attempts to grab and steal Endeavor's quirk. However, before he can even get close, Endeavor notices the villain's hand and immediately burns it to a crisp, using concentrated beams of heat from his eyes. That's right, Endeavor's got heat vision. Upon destroying the villain's hand, Endeavor claims that all those hands have ever done is destroy people's lives. But in hearing this, All for One cries out that Endeavor is one to talk, as he has destroyed lives too, to which he replies, "I know I have." Endeavor then tightly wraps his arms around All for One and rockets himself and the King of Villainy back into the sky as he begins to think about his mistakes. Endeavor thinks about how Toya is the product of his failures, and that he is responsible for his son's actions and the people he killed, and how all his anger, resentment, and punishment will accompany him into his future, a future that must be crossed by the next generation. Endeavor goes on to say that he must win this battle to ensure that the youth and the next generation will be able to choose a path and future they want, and not be held back by some insurmountable obstacle created by their predecessors. It's also very important to note that as Endeavor thinks this, we get this image of an adult version of Todoroki walking towards an adult version of Class 1A. It's kinda cool seeing everyone's potential future hero costumes. And Bakugo's pigtails, apparently. Endeavor then ends his narration by stating that he accepts taking on all of this punishment and pain in his life, because after winning this fight and surviving, he still needs to take care of Toya. And as he finally lets out a full power prominence burn with All for One still in his arms, he leaves us with the comment so he can also keep on hating himself. As the flames fade away, we see that the attack connected directly, and All for One has seemingly been burnt to ashes. Endeavor confirms that according to their reports, unlike Tomura, All for One has no regeneration quirks. So Endeavor has finally done it. He finally killed and defeated All for One. However, this victory is super short-lived, as Hawk screams out to Endeavor to get away from the body, as All for One's voice emanates from the burning ashes, stating, "Did you really believe I would step onto the stage without some aces up my sleeve?" The story then briefly cuts to the image of Eri with 3 cylinders falling around her that look a lot like the quirk erasure bullets, as All for One continues saying that he knew his body was on its last legs, and because he really has no use for it anymore, there is something he would like to try. Leaving us with the final words, "Villains are also most dangerous when wounded." And we see the ashes pull a horrifying smile as both a fully healed eye and ear begins to grow out of the burning ashes. And with this, chapter 357 comes to an end, as the story cuts to Yoichi, the first user of One for All, who senses something is wrong, and tells Midoriya he's got a bad feeling right as Midoriya recognizes 5 silhouetted figures rocketing towards him in the middle of the ocean. Overall, this was another awesome chapter. Horikoshi has really been finding his stride again with this final arc. Endeavor going insano mode was incredible, and him once again working with Hawks to be the best was not only a great callback, but symbolic of how while Endeavor can't match All Might alone, with help he can become even stronger. All for One has me thrown for a complete loop, and I honestly have no idea what the hell is going on with him and his new eye and ear. Also, the imagery of Eri and the quirk erasure bullets is super ominous, and I cannot wait to see just what that means for the King of Villainy. But let me know what you think of this chapter. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and comment what you think is going to happen next. For more content like this, subscribe to the Lunchtime crew. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Plus Ultra.